Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Pit Life Barbecue Podcast. Coming to you live from the Uncle Steve Steak Studios in Center Bonstead, New Hampshire. You know what that means? 8 o'clock Monday night. You can't start the barbecue week unless you start on Monday. So let us go. Obviously, tonight's episode brought to you by Uncle Steve Shake. What can I say, folks? Absolutely amazing, Uncle Steve. 16 amazing flavors, including the sauce with no name, the original, the famous Gator Shake competition line, the new Magic Ribs. That, folks, seriously, if you have not tried the Magic Ribs, it is unbelievable. He knocked this one out of the park. We've been using it like crazy. Great customer service, emails, phone calls. Steve's the one answering the phone. Steve's sending the emails back. He'll even call you if he has a question on your order. All small batch. So when you place your order, mixed within a day or two of you placing that order. It's not sitting around on the shelf somewhere for months on end. So you're always getting the freshest ingredients, the freshest seasonings at all times. Check him out at UncleSteveShake.com and follow on Facebook the Uncle Steve Shake Nation for all the latest and greatest and everything Uncle Steve Shake. Uncle Steve Shake, shake some on everything. Also brought to you by Joe's Meat Market, the diamond of Royce City, Texas. Let me tell you guys, Gabriel and his crew do an incredible job. Absolutely tremendous. You need special order meats, Gabriel will take care of you. You need specific cuts, sizes, Gabriel's got you. Always the freshest meat, freshest produce brought in every day. Rubs, sauces, seasonings, smoking wood products now. He's got you all covered. Everything you need for the weekend warrior or for the competition trail, Gabriel and his crew at Joe's Meat Market got you covered. And you get there and, sometimes you get a little hungry. Got you covered there too. Gabriel's mom's behind the counter making fresh menudo daily, fresh tacos, multiple other dishes. Sit down, grab a plate, and just start cutting it up with all the boys. All right, Scott, who's in the damn chat you're laughing at? I know that.
Something about you rubbing someone's wood product.
Oh, here we go. Hey, it never stops, dude. It never stops. But yeah, guys, if you're ever in the Royce City area, go check out Gabriel and the crew at Joe's Meat Market. You will not be disappointed. And remember, Joe's Meat Market for the. All right. Let's see who's the comedian. I have a feeling I know who it is. What's up, Dutch? C-Mac. C-Mac, it is 8:03. You should have been asleep for an hour now. But thanks for tuning in, brother. Nigel, what's up, brother? Matt Pereira, another one who had a day from hell. I was on the phone with him a little bit. Sandy, what's happening? Judge Webb. Chris, what's happening? Anthony from Fire Cups, what is going on? Bill Gillespie, what's going on, my brother? Let's see. MBE 6060, Johnny will rub your wood product. Yeah, okay. Johnny's cousin. MBE 6. Which cousin would this be? You're throwing me all off there on that one there, folks.
You're being sneaky.
You're being sneaky with me.
Yeah.
And John, what is going on? Oh, so guys, I'm excited. Y'all might want to enable your closed captioning. If you have Google Translate, turn that sumbitch on. Oh, the one in Maine. What's up, Matt? Love you, brother. Because we're staying local. And guys, just let them know, we're going to be local for a foreseeable future, except next week. We're heading back down south. But anyway, had the honor of competing against and hanging out with these folks. Once again, incredible people. Friendly, welcoming. At least Lindsay. Scott's still on the, Scott's still on the bubble. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, he lives on the bubble.
started out SCA, got into KCBS backyard, and now either definitely this year or possibly last year jumped into the Masters Series. But we'll get into that. Ladies and gentlemen, from Sticks and Stones Barbecue and Sinister Steak Company, please welcome Scott and Lindsay MacDonald. What's up, kids?
Hey guys.
Hey.
How we doing?
Hey. Oh, we're doing good, brother. Oh, brother Bill Purvis. Oh, chicken fried. What's up, brother? So guys, first off, thank you so much for taking the time. Like I said, everybody, I have a list that is a mile freaking long, but it's like, okay. So I'm not gonna down. So like I said, we're gonna I'm planning on a whole thing of all the local guys.
There's a lot of local cooks that are worth talking to up in New England. I think a lot of them get overlooked on the national standings or list or whatever, but locally in New England, man, there's some bangers up here. You all know who you are. Everywhere you go, you get hard too. So I'm sure your list is long. Thanks for putting us in it.
Yes.
Oh, no worries. And I was talking, like I said, this afternoon with Matt Pereira from Matt's Backyard Barbecue, and he was saying something about up at Cora this weekend, there were about 6 teams that are going to the Jack, all from this area. That tells you right there. We do pretend to know what the hell we're doing up here.
Once in a while, we get it.
Every once in a while, those Yanks can cook, you know?
Oh, York is one of your own. Absolutely, John. Absolutely. We're all in this together up at this neck of the woods.
Yeah, you're kind of, I think New York is like, it's New England's redheaded stepchild, right? That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Rhode Island is New England's Australia, and New York's our redheaded stepchild. That's it.
Oh, that's hilarious. But all right, guys. Obviously, we're new to this. You've done different shows here and there, but for everybody who doesn't know you in the chat and watching, give us a little rundown about you guys, how you guys met, how you guys got into the competition scene.
So we actually met because we were the only ones that answered each other's emails. We met online after divorces. And when we got together, he always jokes, I was the queen of the microwave. I could cook anything in a microwave, and that was my limit. That's as good as I got. I could reheat a frozen pizza like nobody's business. So
yeah, she burnt water once. I saw it.
I burnt water, yeah. You got to put the water in the pan to cook. So we met that way, and he had a friend who used to do KCBS back in the day with Burnt Offerings, and Scott just kind of hung around with him and started to watch what he was doing, and then I showed up and started to actually watch and take an interest in it, and we kind of fell in love with it that way.
Yeah, our plan was to hop into barbecue. I did a couple contests with my friend in 2019. That's where I met like Billy and Jared and Big Raz and a bunch of the local yokels back then, right? In like Greenfield and Harpoon and whatnot. And being the social butterfly, I just went out and started talking to people like I knew them and pretending I knew what the hell I was talking about, which was definitely not true.
Not a clue.
But just trying to fit in and try to pick people apart. When I used to play tournament pool, I learned how to play pool at a high level by watching high level pool players play pool. It wasn't about, like playing pool for 12 hours. It was watching the guys that made a living doing it, watched how they worked the table. So I wanted to approach barbecue the same way. And so I just started kind of hanging around the big guys and seeing what was going on. And then we hit a couple in 2019 and had some fun. And 2020 was the year. And then what happened, right?
Yeah.
The Black Plague. So I think we did Greenfield in 2019, right? And that was a tune-up for the Jack. I think it was just a couple weeks before the Jack. So there's a lot of teams that were already qualified. A lot of teams came down from Canada, and we did pretty well. I did 2 meets, and my friend did 2 meets, and I was ready to go. And I hit a SCA in Maryland just for the fun of it. There was nothing coming up here, and I said, I think I can cook a steak. Went down there, had a blast. And then 2020 came up, and I'm buying smokers. We went out to Memphis in May, all this stuff, and then just 2020 happened and it stopped. And we didn't know what else to do. There was no KCBS up here that we knew of, we did a couple chili cook-offs that were just, trying to do something. And I saw an SCA schedule, and COVID was kicking everyone's butt. She works at a hospital and was really, really stressed out. And I said, hey, you want to go away for the weekend? She said, sure. And I packed up my Lincoln MKZ with a tent and a table and my grill and a box of rubs, and we drove out to Mississippi overnight. And that is that.
That started it all. The first time
that was it.
That was it. Yeah, the first time he said he was going to go cook a steak in a parking lot, and he bought this grill at a crazy money. It's the C4. I'm like, you bought a box to go cook a steak in a parking lot. You're an idiot. I thought he'd gone and lost his mind. And when we went down to Mississippi, it was the first time I'd ever seen it. I'd ever really seen a steak cook or anything like that. And I stood and I watched him, and I said, okay, I can see the fun in it, because it's a big party. Everyone's standing around, everyone's talking, you get to hang out. Like he said, at that time I was in the hospital and just about losing my mind. Yeah. So to be able to interact with people was amazing. And the more and more he started to do it, I tagged along, and I'm like, dude, if he can figure this out, I'm fairly smart. I think I can figure it out. And I did my first one out in Pennsylvania, placed 7th, and then went on a tear. So I fell into it just by watching him and saying, if he can do it, I can do it. So that was the start of it. Mississippi was the start. And
the SCA motto, I showed up in a parking lot, cooked a steak, and got $1,000.
Yeah. I mean, and honestly, the people you meet along the way, I mean, it might sound cliche, but I tell you what, man, I talked to barbecue friends and SCA friends and people we met along the way across the country, more so than I talked to some of my family, my brother, and most of my close friends. It's a lifestyle. It's a mini vacation every weekend. It's however far you're willing to drive, and it's a good time, win, lose, or draw. We started off someone said, I think we showed up to Johnson City, Tennessee, and they said, are you chasing points? I'm like, I had no idea what he was talking about. I'm like, no, man, I'm chasing the cook.
Right.
I'm chasing cooking. And we were just having so much fun just cooking, not even walking, just having fun. And we started just rolling the dice, going, we could go away to the beach for the weekend, get a hotel room for $250 a night and all this other shit, right? And then go home and be happy. Or we could drive and go cook a steak and not even make any money, but meet a ton of people, have a really good time, and be just as happy. And I think Gary Zimmerman, he's one of the ones we met. That's just how we started rolling the first 2 years. I mean, we started doing really well, and we made some money. We actually profited one year, which was bizarro.
Whoa.
But yeah, I believe that. Including traveling and everything. We paid for our trailer cash with winnings. Yeah.
No, we didn't get to that trailer.
Uh-oh.
Hold on. Let me stop. That's the trailer you guys had when I saw you down in Rhode Island 4th of July weekend, right?
No, that was our big camper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The camper's gone now as well. The small trailer is on the market for serious buyers only. Yeah, Beware of public ridicule.
All right. CMAC is saying that you guys run a great SCA class. So when did you guys get into that aspect of teaching the competition steak?
It was totally my idea, and she hated me for it. She wanted to crawl into a hole and just she doesn't like being right here right now. She will not make eye contact with this little thing all the
No.
What Jeff Mellon and I and Lindsay are trying to do is we're trying to bring more SCA up to New England. The Humphreys started a couple years back, and they had it on the night of before Cora. There was one in New Hampshire.
Anyway.
But we want more of it because frankly, driving 6-7 hours to cook a steak is getting kind of old. It's a lot. There's a lot to it. And to bring it up, someone's got to take the chance to do it. So we brought us SCA in last year. We did it again this year. And I said, what I want to do is I want to get rid of the stigma, the worry. I want more barbecue teams to embrace it, and they're starting to. But it's such a, the joke is hot and fast. Yeah, you cook your brisket hot and fast. Try steak. Steak is hot and fast, and there's no regrets. You do not have a chance to fix what you're done. It's what it is, and that's it. So I think it's the ultimate competition because you have to be on your game. There's no makeups. There's no we'll get them next time, right? There's no putting it back in and tightening it up, or there's no this, there's no that. There's no slicing it and then putting it in some au jus to hope it softens up. It is what it is when they get it, and I think that might scare some people because it's an unknown, right? So we figured we'd do a class, and instead of it being a tell-all class where we regurgitate a recipe that we used 2 years ago that we were doing well with, but we're doing something different now, and just talk about what we won with. We wanted it to be a boot camp, a 101, a cause and effect. This is what you're going to see. This is what you're going to get, and really get people past that learning curve so they could walk out and just do better right off the rip versus it taking a year cooking multiple contests maybe to figure out what the judges are looking for.
Right. We started slicing the steak right at the table, so everyone could see what the whole process from the slicing of the steak to picking the steak, because that was the scariest part when I started. It was like, oh my God, I've got people. Gary would stand behind me, and I'm like, these guys are standing behind me watching me pick my steak, and it's a pure panic. And you mess up and you grab the first one, and we didn't want people to do that. We wanted to say, this is what you're looking for when you go up there. Take a breath, breathe. So we had everyone go and do it. We had everybody trim a steak and tie it, and so much more of a how-to, like Scott said, versus hey, this is what we do, try and do what we do. It's like, no, there's 7 different ways to do this, and we're going to show you a process.
And we showed them what happens with what, right? So we showed them the 4 different ways, let's say fake number, and then showed them what it did too. We did a bad one. We messed one up on purpose. We took an ugly steak that no one wanted to pick, and I trimmed it and showed them that this steak could win because you look past everything, right? The steak is going to tell you what it's going to look like when you're done trimming it before you even take the knife to it. You gotta just kind of roll it. It's like Mr. Miyagi and those damn bonsai trees, right? You really find the beauty underneath it. And there's some Gary Zimmerman, he's on this right now. He's one. I've seen him do it. I've seen him get last pick on that table, that steak that nobody wanted. And I tell you what, more times than not, I bet you he walked top 3 with it. And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, and like when you were saying, with the barbecue, everybody, a lot of guys cook hot and fast. Cooking that steak, hot and fast isn't the right term, because you're cooking at 600 anyway, or 600 minimum with grill grates. How long does it actually take you guys from start to finish to cook a steak ready for turning?
Like start as in when it hits the grill?
It's the grill.
Yeah, I mean,
not the seasoning and tying and all that stuff. From the time it hits the grill,
the time that it's on getting hot, it's 1.5 minutes times 4. Let's pretend that, right? So 6 minutes. 6 minutes, and then there's some either before or after reverse searing going on to get some internal temp up, right? But it's that fast, and that's just if you're using grill grates. When I pan sear, it's a 2-minute cook.
Yeah.
I'm 1 minute per side that's in the box. It's, so you have to have your crap together.
10 minutes tops from the time it hits the grill to the time I want to have it resting.
Yeah.
10 is like, oh, I'm worried. 10 minutes is all you got.
Yeah, Nigel was just saying 8 minutes.
Yeah,
so
that's a good average probably. That's a good middle of the road. Because if it's any longer than that, then the heat does so much weird stuff to it. It never looks like what it did when you first pulled it off the grates. If you have to put it here a little more for too long to get that temper you want, it starts baking it like it's in a roaster,
Yeah.
And while flavor wise, that's a good thing. Appearance wise, it might tend to hurt you after too much time. So that's what the class was. The class was everything you should do, a bunch of stuff you shouldn't. And then one of the things we said was stop going on Facebook and looking at what people are posting or stop posting your pictures of your steaks and ask people what they think. Because it doesn't matter what they think when they're looking at it on a computer. And I've seen people change what they're trying to do by listening to keyboard warriors. I mean, no offense to anyone, but you don't want your opinions from a guy that's struggling just as much as you are. Or in some cases, a guy that's cooked a lot less than you have that just goes on there to answer questions for everybody. It's just not where you get your good feedback. You get your good feedback at the contests, either from your competitors that you're friends with, or talk to the judges. They're all there. Find them, talk to them. Once they're done cooking or once they're done judging, they can answer certain questions. They can, tell you what they thought of that day. They all ate steak, but they're not gonna give you any answers to what they just judged, but people will give you information that's worth it versus getting caught up in what people are doing on Facebook. Sorry, they don't stack steaks. when they're judging, they don't cut it in half and put it on top of the other one like everyone wants to do on Facebook. It's not a thing, and all that does take people down the wrong path, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Joe, what's up? Mad Max calling you out. Big Rome, what's up? Happy belated birthday. Brother Steven, what's going on, brother? All the way from Tobago. Yes, from the islands. And then if I'm not mistaken, I also saw Simon. What's going on? And Randy from Big Selena's Barbecue. What's up, brother? Thank you all for tuning in. Now, how do you like to present your steaks? I've never cooked an SCA. I want to, just to have the experience under my belt, and I'm gonna easily get addicted, I feel. But listen to one in particular, Kyle Matuszewski from You're Behind Barbecue.
Love my Kyle. I love my Kyle. Kyle's a good dude.
He always talks about the try hard facing. So is there a certain way you guys prefer to present the steak in the box? Like with barbecue, I'll put it to half chickens. You want to have the breast facing out.
I mean, go ahead.
No. So when you do SCA, no garnish. Literally, they get a foil disc and you plop the steak right in the box. Boom, done. But when you put it in the box, you have to kind of think of it. Here's a circle. Cut that steak in half. Put your finger over it in half. The part that they're going to eat from should be closest to you. And the part that they're going to judge for what it looks like should be towards the back of the box where the lid meets the hinge of the box. Yeah. Scott is notorious for doing try-hearts. I cooked one once. I actually didn't know what it was. I just thought it was pretty looking, cooked it, did well. Never again.
It was pretty.
I do spinalis. So I make sure that spinalis is right in the front of that box, as much of it as I can up there. And that's just that. And you don't cut it. You don't do anything to it. Dear Lord, please make sure you take all your strings off and count everything and double check. Yeah. There's nothing worse than that.
The rep does a good job. The reps do a good job at every cook at the cooks meeting, and most of the cooks have heard it a million times. But they have a little picture, and it shows, you put the eating portion towards the opening and the appearance portion towards the hinge. And they used to, pre-COVID, believe it or not, they would open the box and they would move it. They don't anymore. Since COVID, they don't tell you. It's got to be the way you want to present it in the box. They will cut it in half, directly in the half of the steak. I tend to try to manipulate my placement in the box or the way that I trim it, so that, and also where I temp it, so that it is on the cut line. I make them cut it where I want to cut it, based on how I trim it and how I present it in the box. It's at a clock. So if the middle of the eating portion is at your 6 o'clock, and a big spinella steak may wrap around, it could have broken here. You can move it, right? Move it over to 4 o'clock, move it to 7 o'clock, so that you get them to cut it on the half line where you want it to give you the upper hand. And they do cut it with the cook's interest in mind. They don't cut it and go, ha, screw this guy. They will, if they cut it and it's all fat on either side and there's only a little bit of steak in there for color, they'll cut it again to make sure that the judges get to see what's actually going on there. They really give the cooks benefit of the doubt on everything. It's a cookers association. They judge from top down. You got to earn your points down. It's in my opinion, it's the best cooking association out there. I really believe so. It's why? Because it's a for-profit. If everyone starts bashing the association and people stop cooking, the two founders make less money, versus it being a board of directors that, do they really care or do they not? Some do, some don't, some may, some might. I don't know. So I think that the fact that these guys make their living off of this, and they're just about to break into both Mexico and what's the other new country? They just came back from another country too. I mean, they're all over the place, and they're making it. They listen to feedback every year. They'll tweak rules. They'll make adjustments and things based on cooks' feedback, because they want people to keep on cooking with them. Yeah. It's a great association, and we're just trying to build it in New England. Our goal next year is to have 2, one in Mass, one in Connecticut, and then maybe the following year we'll have 3. But it's hard because we're competing against the Pennsylvania schedule, which is jam-packed, and that's half of our captive audience, in my opinion, because it's close enough. I don't want to put one on the same weekend as one in Lancaster, or something like that, because we can't get those cooks up there, and at the same time we want to support those cooks. So we have to be careful how many we try to do, and make them so that they're destination cooks, and we want people to want to make that drive up, because driving into New England from down there is not fun.
No, that's for sure. Joe's asking, thickness of the steak, what is thoughts? His 1 to 1.5 to 1 3/4 thick.
I think they average 1 3/8. If I remember right, the average, or the recommended, is 1 3/8. We use the jig that 270 Smokers makes. It's a big loin jig. 1 3/4, I believe, is over. I think it's 1.5 max.
Yep. We went to one con, and they were so happy they gave us 2-inch thick steaks, and I'm like, oh Lord, I don't know how to cook this.
It took about 2 hours.
Yeah, it took quite a while.
Yeah.
Yep.
They were nice steaks.
Wow. Oh, there's Heidi. How are you, darling?
Hi, Heidi.
So tell me about the shed. Now, do you guys go down every year? This is you. You're going to have to look at the little dot there at me, Lindsay. I know you don't want to, but a little birdie.
It's my birthday. That's my birthday weekend. So I make her take me to the shed for my birthday weekend, and I let her loose on everyone. That's basically what happens.
That's win-win all around on both ends. So tell me a little bit about the shed there, Lindsay.
So the first time we went, or the first time he went the year before, and I got to watch him on TV doing it. But the next year when I went, it's so nerve-wracking. There's so many people there. It was like, what, 67? I mean,
that was 112, I think, that year.
So there was a lot of people there. And they start calling the numbers, and I didn't realize that the showdown, if you win, you have to go into a second type of cook. So they're calling, and finally I realized what the showdown is, and I start to panic, and I cook the steak the way I always do. Just cook my steak on my little C4. Love the thing. and they called the number for first on steak A, and I looked at my ticket and I go, damn it. And the woman next to me said, you don't seem very happy about this. I'm like, I am not. I am terrified. So I won. I got steak A, and then I had to go up into the showdown. And again, as I said earlier, I am queen of the microwave. When we met, I am not a cook. I can cook a steak. I don't cook meals. I am a recipe follower. And this time at the shed, it was not a steak to steak showdown. You had to go in there and like chop style. You had to go and you were given steak, but you had to make a dish you had to make 6 portions of a dish with anything on the table. So it was a free for all to grab stuff from the table. So I think I did tacos.
Yeah, you did tacos.
I did like steak fajita tacos type of thing on there, and I won. But
she had no idea who the judges were. So the judges were Matt Pittman, Big Bob Gibbs, or Tuffy, Sailcracker, like Chris Lilly, all these celebrity guys, these Hall of Famers up there, and I'm geeking out. She has no clue, and I started telling her who the judges are, and she got so mad because that made her that much more nervous, and it was awesome. It was cool.
Yeah. So I got the hat, big sequin hat, the Mama Shed hat, and then the next year we go, and they get all the way to the end, and there we go again. I got steak A. Was it steak A? I got steak A again, and had to do the showdown with, of all people, Johnny Joseph. I was like, oh boy, this is this is going to be a doozy, and it was a doozy, and he got it, but he and I both were past champions that got to go in it head to head again.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So last year I was like, I need a break. I got 5th. But it was really cool to be on the other side and actually get to watch it. And watch them do the cook and be on this side of the table versus on the other side. But it's our place. It is you can't even begin to describe it when you go there. It's like everybody just put everything into this big junkyard pile and it works. It is awesome. It's one of our favorite places to go down to and do the cook.
And anyone who's ever met Brad and Brooke, I mean, it's a party. They roll out the red carpet. It's you can't even really explain it. I tried explaining it to my kids, and instead of just talking, we took them down there.
We took them.
The year that she came in second, or the second year, we ended up taking them, and it's just some people don't like it. It's very chaotic. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of cooking slammed into one day. The awards are late. The party the night before might have thrown you off kilter a little bit. I think everyone should go check it out, but I don't want everyone to because it's mine, right? It's like it's my birthday weekend. It's so much fun. It gets a little kid in me out. I just run around like a maniac. It's just awesome. And I've done well there too. I've walked in everything. I've walked in turkey. I've walked in steak. I've walked in what else? The ribs. It's a fun cook. And there's so many. We got to cook next to James Cruz last year, who's a big Memphis MA guy. We met Sweetie down there. We just met so many people, and she just walks around all nervous, but she's the champ, and people call her champ, and people come and talk to Lindsay because she's won twice, and it's kind of neat. She doesn't expect that type of stuff, but she owns the shed. She's the woman of the shed down there. It's pretty cool.
I'm just a little nurse from Springfield, Mass. That is not me.
But we'll be going together.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome. It's that's wild. But like you said, but you keep coming back to the community, and it is mind blowing.
Yeah.
And especially, we all, and everyone in the chat watching, we all know what we're all talking about. We can literally at this point probably go to any part of the country and have, whether you actually met them in person or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's absolutely wild. And, I tell people I know who don't cook, who don't compete, guys from work, and they're like, it seems like you go everywhere and you know somebody. I go, yeah, well, you went down to Texas to pick up the pit, and you're stopping at this store and you stop at that store, and I took the most sideways route to go pick up Miss Mary down in Austin. Like you were saying, that one way to Mississippi.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Salem, New Hampshire to Hernando, Mississippi, via Ottawa, Tennessee. So it was straight down and straight across, like 22 hours, something like that. But they're like, well, why would you do that? I go, to see my friend.
Yeah.
To see my friend Steve at his barbecue shop in Ottawa, Tennessee. To go see my friend, Mark Williams, who is, the right-hand man, Malcolm Reed's right-hand man, who's was at the store, stop at the shop, see him, these different things. And wow, can you hear that? Holy
is that rain?
Yeah, rain and thunder. Whoa.
Okay, it came through here about an hour ago.
Yeah.
That was close. Wow.
People don't get it. I know my family, the way the dynamics are with my family and grandparents, I hadn't been able to see my parents for over a year due to COVID. And I kept telling them about, how we're doing the barbecue and we're getting into the steak and, the group of people that we had initially met in SCA, I kept talking about like the barbecue family, and they couldn't quite get it. And they finally came to a comp in Greencastle and fell in love. They go, oh my gosh, I can now understand why you do this so much. I won. My poor mom, she's sitting with me, hadn't seen her in a year. She knew me as the microwave queen. They get to 5th place and she touches me and she goes, it's okay, honey. There's always tomorrow. And I pulled it out and won, but I was like, oh, see, mom, have no faith in me. But so much so they enjoyed it so much that now they have a trailer. They will drive to where we are cooking, get a campsite next to us, and interact with everybody. They understand it, and they're like, oh, I can see what you mean. And they get it. But yeah, it's a unique community.
Yeah, and my wife was the same way. Like, dink, dink, dink. Yeah, my wife was the same way, and then she came to, the first event, the first comp, and went, oh, I love this.
It's a community. It's a little community.
Oh yeah. And like I said, I always go back to when I picked up the pit, when she surprised me with the pit, the backline for my birthday. That Ryan Newland from Backline threw a pit reveal party. He used to have them all the time, and this was the first one since COVID. And I tell everybody, they're like, oh, how many people were at the pit at the party? I go, I don't know, 50 or 60. And literally, I knew most of them, but I've never met them.
Yeah.
The only people I technically, by definition, knew was my wife and my 2 kids.
Yeah.
I hadn't even met Ryan at that point. It was all through the videos and the phones and, YouTube and the different forums. But yeah, they all the boys came up, from San Antonio, out from Houston, down from Dallas, and you never met them, but, hugs all the way around and everyone's shooting, everybody knows each other. My kids were blown away. They're like, Dad, you seriously don't know these people? I go, I do. I just never physically met them.
Right.
And then it finally clicked in the heads, going, okay, I get it now. But that's the prime example. It doesn't matter. We're brothers, we're sisters. We've known each other forever.
Yep.
And that's the beautiful part about it all. Ryan, Chef, Rick, Jared, TBC Boy, Steve, George. Yes, Dutch. Exactly. He's listing some people who were there. You know who wasn't there, Dutch? Uh,
I wasn't there.
Funny. No, you weren't there.
No. I wasn't there.
But neither was Dutch.
Thanks for the
But,
invite.
all right, so we had getting into the steaks. So now we're going to go, you've transitioned to the KCBS. Now, my understanding was you started doing, the backyard series, so the chicken and ribs.
Yep.
And then is this the first year you guys jumped into the Master Series?
So
Full time.
Yeah, we did. It was 2 seasons ago. We started doing backyard, and then reading the letter of the rule, we would throw ourselves into a couple Master Series up here, right? So we were down in the Mid Atlantic so often cooking steak, whether it be Pennsylvania, West Virginia, North Carolina. We're like, well, shoot, we're down here. There's a KCBS tomorrow with a backyard. We might as well do that too. So that we were able to cut our teeth on that. And then on weeks where there was nothing going on, but there happened to be a KCBS up here, like we did Mohegan, or we did Harpoon. Is that it? We did Southwick 2 years ago, stuff like that. We, just trying, but we didn't want to go overboard because we were still trying to figure stuff out. And the teams up here and in the Middle Atlantic, they're scary, man. So I wanted some time to at least try to just get our feet underneath us, not knowing if we were going to still go really heavy with SCA or we're going to split the schedule up, how we were going to do it. So backyard, and I'll tell you another thing, and a lot of the guys like Billy and a lot of the other guys know, those backyard teams down in the Middle Atlantic, I mean, it's not an entry level.
No,
these guys just don't feel like cooking 4 meats, right?
Yeah.
These guys are badasses. Every time one of them moves up, they GC within like the first 3-4 contests. I mean, they're amazing cooks. So our goal was just to hang with them, and we did for 2 years, and it was great. We just got burnt out on the driving, 6-7 hours, and it wasn't about the payouts. The buy-ins less, the payouts less, whatever. It just
it was crossing the GW
well,
and trying to find routes outside to get outside of New England and spending. We started to get a little frustrated that we would be spending 8-9 hours driving and listening to our friends up here having a 2-hour drive, or saying, oh my gosh, it's a 45-minute drive this time. And I'm like, 8 hours later.
Yeah.
So we decided that we just really kind of wanted to make that plunge, take the plunge, the plunge.
It gave us a chance to figure out what we wanted to do, right? We wanted to be able to balance both SCA and KCBS, but without any more SCAs, north of New Jersey, let's say, we couldn't just drive down there just to do backyard. So the thought was this year we were going to go full on KCBS.
Yeah.
We started off, we did one full Masters, and then I'll be honest, we went trophy hunting. We did Jiggy with the Piggy, and we did Revolutionary, North Carolina and Virginia, because the trophies are so freaking cool. I just wanted a chance to try to grab one.
Yes.
Right. Not that I thought it was any easier doing it in backyard with Masters, because it is not.
Struggled.
But we went trophy hunting, and that was our last hurrah. We did a nice trip. That was our last hurrah, and we're strictly Masters now. So if we go down the Mid Atlantic to cook a steak, and we happen to do barbecue the next day, it's full on Masters against all the big boys, and we'll still hang out with them. We met a lot of really cool people in backyard, and they're amazing cooks. These guys work really, really hard at it, but there's no reason to go to Masters in that region unless you are ready or want to go to Masters. A lot of them have family and kids, and the funding of doing it is, it's twice as much. Never mind the meats, right? Oh, yeah. So it's a cool option that they have. Unfortunately, we don't have it in New England sanctioned with KCBS. Now we do with Nebs. And thankfully more Nebs promoters are starting to do ribs and chicken versus ribs and chicken wings, because that should be the progression, right? So we're starting to see that a lot more, which is good. I don't think we'll see a sanctioned KCBS backyard storm in this area, because none of the teams are going to come up from Pennsylvania or West Virginia where it's heavy to do one up here. Jeremy tried it a couple years ago in Bristol, not this past year, the year before. He tried doing a backyard division, and no one no one came up, and I thought for sure at least some of the teams would have come up from Pennsylvania or New Jersey, but New England's not fun to drive to. I mean, anyone that does it from the Mid-Atlantic, they're chasing points or looking for an auto or something. It's a big drive. It's an expensive drive with tolls, and if you don't know how to get around the GW, there's $60 pulling a trailer minimum. It's tough. So, we needed to slow down the traveling unless we want to do a destination cook. And let's face it, we get along really well with all the teams up here. We have a friggin' blast. My daughter is cooking with Dan's daughter from El Jefe, so they're having fun, making some grown men cry here and there and stuff like that. And this is where we want to be, and we want to grow and keep on pushing the boundaries up here too. So
100%. Now you said something about trophy hunting. Have you ever cooked or knew anybody who cooked at Smoke on the Mountain in Galax, Virginia?
Yeah, so we were gonna go. That was gonna be our cook this year, and Kathy had a cook instead, and we wanted to support her cook, so we canceled our plans to go down to that. We will be going to that next year. I wanted to do that cook forever.
That's the banjos, right?
Yeah,
the banjo.
the fiddles.
The fiddle.
Our friend Marcio he's a world-class hog cook in MBN. He's offered to give us a tutorial on an MBN hog cook and stuff. So that's on our list for next year. Yep.
Yeah, that's definitely on my bucket list. Because it's 2 days. 1 day's MBN, 1 day's KCBS, and
they have an SCA.
And the SCA. Yeah. So you got three bangers right there.
Yeah.
And those trophies, man,
they're so cool.
Yeah.
So cool. Between the fiddles, the banjos, the guitars, and they all work. They're all legit instruments made by a local guy in Galax. But it
was like the trophies that Dave Dick did for Williamsburg. They're replica muskets. So we won the pistol for I forget, it was a third place overall or something like that. So I mean, it's just like Civil War, or I'm sorry, Revolutionary War replica muskets, and they have a glass blower that blows glass jugs and stuff as trophies. Some of the coolest trophies I've ever seen. That's stuff,
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's great. So what did you guys? So now, you've cooked the KCBS, SCAs. What do you think of this year? Now, I don't know if this was the first time you cooked it, but the CBA event that we had 4th of July weekend. What do you guys think of that with the whole, with the whole structure of how it's set up?
I thought it was awesome.
It's the first time we've ever cooked.
Yeah, it was the first time.
That was a big learning curve with the chicken. I can tell you that. They did not like my chicken.
We tried to embrace it, right? So we watched all the videos and practiced the half a chicken a couple times. Watched a couple of Bill Purvis's videos, and I thought it came out great. I don't think the judges were looking for that, and I think everyone else, including Bill, if I'm not mistaken, we're just rolling with like KCBS style chicken because figuring that's what the judges up there were looking for. But I thought it was really cool. I liked the timelines. We had done World Foods a couple times in Mohegan, so we knew that timeline with an hour in between, so I wasn't worried about that. We did everything normal, right? We didn't change anything. We pretended it was a KCBS cook because other than the timeline, because why change it, right? Except for the chicken, obviously. But I finally got to monkey off my back on brisket that day. I thought it was a breath of fresh air. I thought it was a lot of fun. I loved how everyone that was there embraced it. And I tell you what, hearing my song instead of my name, I'll take that any day, because that just got me pumped.
Ain't that the best? Cool. Wasn't that one of the best parts though? Is that walk-up music, because you're sitting there and it's your song. Yeah. But you're hesitant. Going, wait a minute, yes, it is. Or never mind if you get a couple of songs that kind of sound the same tone at the beginning.
Yeah.
Because at that point, you and your buddies are sitting there looking at each other going, all right, come on, give me another 3 seconds of this so we can figure out which one of us is getting up.
Oh, yeah. I walked really slow with my first call.
Oh, gosh. Yes.
I wanted to hear more of the song. It's my favorite song. So, that's right. Chris Rosinski, they did Let It Smoke. They did a half a chicken as well and actually walked with, I thought, 6th place, I believe, maybe 5th or 6th place. I'm pretty sure other than Carlos, they were the only 2 that walked with half chicken. Everyone else did thighs that walked from what I know of. But it was a fun cook. Can't wait to do it next year. I hope there's more than one next year. There's somebody saying that they're going to try to do a Triple Crown, which would be kind of cool.
There's definitely going to be the Rhode Island. I'm not sure. I've heard rumblings of Connecticut, and I've also heard a rumbling of New Hampshire for all 3 CVAs.
Yep.
So that'll be interesting. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm definitely jumping in.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'll be able to get back into the swing of things for next year. But yeah, the CVA, it was awesome. You got a killer first place brisket call.
Yeah. Almost a perfect score. I didn't even realize it till Billy Gillespie told me a little bit later. It was a big score. I didn't even realize it, but
because they have the what did they instead of the 180 they call it, what is it, the 777
or
200
but yeah, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool
for sure. Now, I was also told to ask a question about what was the contest last year where the weather was just shithouse?
Oh, Somerset.
There was a question. There was a question being asked of a floating pair of underwear.
No, it was my pants. It was my jeans. We had it was, oh my God, come on. We had with our steak trailer, our barbecue trailer. There's enough room in the kitchen that we can put. Yeah, everybody cares, Riley. You could put either a queen size blow up or 2 cots. And we're going back and forth, like, what's the weather going to do? Because if we put our fridge in there, we can't. So if we take the fridge out, it's fine. We can sleep in there. If we put the fridge in there, we can't sleep in there. So we were just going off the weather. I said, screw it, we're taking the fridge. And we had the old hickory on the back on the porch with 1 barrel in the fridge. So we set up pop-up tents and roped one off with the walls as our bedroom, and the other one was like a lounge, right? And then the storm came. And I was laying in my cot with nothing on, holding on to the tent, and it's lifting me out, and she's out in the pouring rain in the wind trying to break the other tent down that just slammed into Patty McHugh's trailer. And all of a sudden,
from slamming into his trailer in a t-shirt in ankle deep water.
Yeah.
I mean, we were not appropriately dressed for this weather. And end of the story,
it was midnight.
We finally get the tent all closed up, both tents in. He gets up in the next morning to try and find his pants. We can't find his pants. We have no idea where they are. They're all rolled in with the tent. Like, it just, that one made us look and say, I am not doing this again unless we have some sort of trailer. We watched like Mark and Christine. They're like, it rained last night. Patty McHugh's like, I heard it rained last night. We're like, you want to talk about some rain? Yeah.
I slept for an hour in the front seat of my pickup truck, soaking wet, freezing cold, soaking wet, no dry clothes.
We said never again.
It was, and then we had to cook the next day.
Yeah.
And I think she got a 2nd place chicken, but it was a miserable day. It was tough.
Yeah.
It wasn't fun.
But that's what we do. We deal, we deal with it.
Yeah.
And that was like with me last year at the Granite State up at Budweiser in Merrimack. I loaded in on Friday afternoon. It was literally 95, not a cloud in the sky, humid as hell. I'm dying. And we all get set up, and then next thing you know, we're all sitting around. We finally got to relax. Everything's set up perfect how we want it. We got to sit down, crack a cold one. Literally, as soon as we popped the top, all the phones started going off of weather alerts and, severe thunderstorms, high winds, and what? When you're looking around, it's not, and they were right on this time. It just rolled in. We're literally I'm hanging on both tents. I wound up tying one of them to the smoker.
Yeah.
Just so I could have the other ends. And it's just pouring down. And then, of course, in classic, New England fashion, we went from 95 to 55.
Oh, yeah.
The rest of the weekend. So you're sitting there freezing your ass off. It's like, luckily, my wife couldn't get there till Saturday morning. So it's like, yo, bring me another pair of boots, bring a pair of sneakers, bring some more pants. What? I go, all hell broke loose over here last night.
Well, the boys that came up for the CBA in July, they saw that firsthand. That wacky New England weather, pouring rain, 65 degrees, and all of a sudden it's 100. It's
exactly
crazy.
Exactly. Yeah, because everyone loaded on Friday.
Yep.
And it was 100 degrees out.
Yep.
Yeah.
That night and that morning, the rain's in and out. The temperature is on a roller coaster. But yeah, hey, welcome to New England. Give it 5 minutes.
Yeah, we've had it longer.
Well, when we decided to build the first trailer, it was when we were cooking in Johnson City, Tennessee, and she was standing on the cooler holding the tent.
I spent an entire 3 hours just holding a tent out.
We had one side of it tied to Johnny Bolton and Dave Meyer's truck, and then blah blah blah. I said, I think we should build a trailer. And then when she decided she wanted to cook, it was like a no-brainer because lugging up 2 people's worth of equipment for SCA just in a pickup truck, it's a lot of work setting up and tearing down. I said, hey, if we do this, then it'll be easier. And I just totally sold her a bill of goods. So we did it. And then she got heavily into cooking and quite frankly, her winnings paid for it. So it was good. And it works fine for barbecue as well. It really does. Depending on what you're cooking with equipment, we haven't had any issues. It's just again, if we have doing a double without a refrigerator, for me, I don't like coolers as much, so that takes out our sleeping situation. So then after that fiasco, I'm like, we need a bigger trailer. We need something bigger. And we were looking and we hemmed and hawed about a bunch of different stuff. And that's when we bought the camper that you saw, the big toy hauler. And we just got rid of that, and we'll be unveiling our new machine in Vermont in a couple weeks. So
okay. So, but I have to go back to that. Obviously, I haven't seen a whole lot of toy haulers. I've seen the campers and everything, and Billy's trailers and campers.
Mm-hmm.
Those ones like that. I've never seen one with a deck on it, which you guys had, which I thought was the ballsiest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I come around the corner and there you two are, launched in the air with the drums. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, all right, that's just cool.
Yeah. We got that idea from JP and his wife from Bourbon and Blues Barbecue. They have a big fifth wheel toy hauler, and he puts it's a patio, right? So they have railings, and you're supposed to put a table and chairs out there, and I don't know, look at the stars. And we saw them doing it. I'm like, I think that's what we should do, because then you got some comfort, right? You got a little living room and a bedroom and shit. And we had the cookers out there. It worked great. I don't think there's a bad thing about it. You just got to be comfortable on that deck. The cables can hold about 1,500 pounds, but a lot of people will put jacks underneath it too, just so you don't have the bounce.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. And that was a 12-foot garage too. So we had a huge
kitchen
in comparison to what we were used to in the other trailer. So it was really cool. It's just a big trailer to tow around.
Oh yeah. But
towing the thing down in DC. Not fun.
We had to unhook it to get gas at a gas station outside of DC because none of the gas stations were big enough to pull up to the pump.
Yeah, pouring
Oh,
rain,
my goodness.
9 at night. We had to pull into a gas station, unhook, get gas, rehook up, and then straight shot it back out. So we're like, nope, it is not for inner city. I give JP a ton of credit for traveling with that thing. They're a doozy.
But yeah, like I said, I thought it was awesome. I came around the corner and I'm like, oh, that is great.
Yeah, we call it the view from the porch.
Yep.
I like to park, and it started with our stake trailer when we built that, because most people that had trailers, especially in SCA, they use the trailers just to get around, where we built ours to cook off of. You know, a regular barbecue porch trailer, right? But nobody seemed to be doing it with SCA, and we did it for our 2 big grills, and we called it the view from the porch. I wanted to park in a certain way to where we were cooking with everybody, right? Instead of it cooking off the back of the trailer and we're just on the back of the trailer, I always pulled in instead of backed in, so that we were up front and personal with everyone, because I like to be loud and obnoxious to people and yell from across the parking lot to somebody, throw shit, whatever. And we called it the view from the porch. It's a lot of fun. And we try to do the same thing with barbecue with that toy hauler porch. Just have it out there so we could see everything that's going on, heckle people that are walking by, it's fun.
Oh yeah. Because like I said, it was the little triangle. It was you guys, it was 16 mesh, and it was Carlos set up right there. And
all in a little area.
Everyone's hooting, hollering, laughing it up. Oh, it was a great time. It was a great
It really was. I'm looking forward to that again next year.
No, for sure. But guys, thank you so much for taking the time. What is in the future for both the barbecue side and the steak side?
I mean, same, right? We're gonna keep on rolling. We have a few more big cooks in New England. We're skipping a double. We're actually our last trip of the year, or big trip of the year, is we're going out to Murfreesboro to the 17th Street. That's a bucket list cook for us. I want one of those apples like you read about, man. I'm really looking forward to that. We're doing both KCBS and we're going to do both SCAs. It's also our favorite rep from SCA, Michelle Daggett, her 50th. So we're going out there and that's going to be our vacation. We're going to take a full week to do that trip.
Yeah.
There's that, and a couple more SCAs.
We always close out the year at Katowice.
Yeah, Katowices are fine. It's like a December SCA. Hopefully it'll be cold.
Yep.
Oh, that's up at Dan's place, right?
Yeah, Big Dan's place. Yeah. Yeah, Messy Mike came down a couple years ago for that. Yep. Yeah, that's where we pretty much end our SCA for the year. New Holland this weekend. We're going down to cook the New Holland Summerfest. We're doing steak on Friday night. We joined forces with Greg Boggs and Ed Gent, and we're each doing a meat plus whole hog.
We're gonna try a whole hog.
Yeah, there's a KCBS whole hog entry in that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna have some fun.
Very good.
Next year,
what's up?
Next year we'll start with the shed like we do every year. Next year we'll start with the shed. Hopefully we'll have our schedule out for what we're doing, what Jeff and I are gonna do for SCA cooks plus the KCBS cook. And I think our big trip again is going to be Jiggy with the Piggy, Revolutionary, and then Smoke on the Mountain. Those will be our destinations next year.
Cool. Dan Swanson, what's up, brother? But guys, thank you so much. This was awesome. Like I said, you guys have been on the list for a while, and it's like, okay, let's just go. Let's go. And we're like I said, we're running the gauntlet of locals. So we're staying in the New England area for a while. Like I said, at least till sometime in October. Except next week we're going with Kerry Bringle from Peg Leg Pork is joining me. So
nice. I got to eat some of his food at the Memphis and May a couple years back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's where I met C-Mac. I met C-Mac at Memphis and May, believe it or not.
That little guy, huh?
Yeah. I saw this short little guy walking around. It
is scary how fucking big he is.
He is a big guy.
He came up to the house one. Actually, I got to get on the phone with him because he had an idea of coming up and us just going ham out here on a Sunday, just cooking a bunch of stuff, doing a bunch of lives and things like that. The first time he came up, he almost didn't fit in my kitchen. I got some like old it's that cottage feel. So I had like the exposed beams, and
Yeah.
every time we wanted to go, he'd have to do the get through the beams. Just like Jesus Christ. But yeah, I love him. I love
He's a big
man.
guy.
But
Well, we'll
guys,
have to tune in next week for that, for the peg leg Porker interview. We'll tune in for that. He's a fun guy.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited. But guys, thank you so much. Where can everybody follow you on both of them, or are they all both Sticks and Stones?
Yeah, they're both Sticks and Stones Barbecue with a QUE. So both Instagram and Facebook are the same address, really. Sticks and Stones Barbecue, BBQUE.
Awesome.
But yeah, we appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Oh, no worries. It was a pleasure. It's been fun. Once again, thank you for that shot of whiskey to celebrate that first place.
Oh yeah, always.
Gotta always hit that little brown water.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Especially the Red Stag. That's our go-to.
Yeah, Red Stag is it.
Absolutely. But guys, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Well, that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Got to learn a little bit about Scott and Lindsay and their starts and what everything they got going on. So yeah, follow them social media. You never know when you might run into another championship down the shed. Maybe if you're following, vacationing, you might see a couple down there and stop on and say hi. But thanks you everyone for tuning in. Catch the video, Facebook, YouTube, all the audios, iTunes, Spotify, all that shit. Please leave a review on all of them. Just help get the word out. Any questions or comments, please send them to pitlifebbqpodcast@gmail.com. And like always, subscribe, like, rate, review, all that. Like I said, next week, Terry Bringle from Peg Leg Porkers. And yeah, so fire up the pits, have a fun week of cooking, and until next week, keep the smoke rolling.